thank you all for inviting me to be here with you tonight or this morning or wherever you are. I live in Maine in the United States, and I'm happy to be with you in whatever way is um, is a uh, connected joining for all of us. And I know that really what we're here for, in my mind, and this maybe most people don't know it, but we're here to wake up to the nature of our being, which is not this. And the cool thing about this transmission of the internet, and oh my I love Zoom. I used to be a Skype guy until I found Zoom, but the cool thing about this transmission is that it is, I feel that it's really accelerating the global joining and the experience of awakening from the dream that we thought we were bodies. And now we can really find out what else is out there in a way that it's just it's it's multiplied. It's there are so many different traditions that are available to awaken, and I know many people that are on no tradition that they have their their demonstration is like they came in with truth in their heart, and they don't even know about Advaita Vedanta or A Course in Miracles or Hindu or Buddhist or Great Freedom or any of the many kind of traditions that are out there. And what I have found, and I came in, I mean, I had uh, no spiritual model. My parents weren't spiritual or religious. My they believed in God, so I thought, God must be something that's you should believe in. And I was a fundamentalist Christian for about 20 years until I found A Course in Miracles. And then I found A Course in Miracles 2006. And as soon as I found the Course in Miracles, I knew that that was the truth of what Jesus' message was 2,000 years ago. At least it was a more, uh, maybe a, maybe a better translation of some of the things that were in the Bible that resonated with me. And I love the Bible. It was a very good next step for me. It took me from drug addiction and alcoholism as a teenager, a young hippie, and then later on a young parent. And I called out to the God of I didn't have any idea what God was, but I said, God, if you're real, I need your help. I'm on these drugs, I'm drinking, I was a single parent taking care of a little 3-year-old daughter, and I needed help. I called for God. It came to me in the way that I was able to accept it with, which at that time was Christianity. So it took the drugs away in one day. I never took drugs again after asking the archetype Jesus to come in. I said, God, if you're there, if you're real, I need your help. And in a couple of months, I was asking Jesus to come in. I was getting baptized in the ocean in the Bahamas. And within 2 weeks of that, I was on a TWA Airlines flight to Israel. I wanted to go to Bethlehem. I wanted to see if that dirt was real. That was where he walked and was put on the cross. So I actually lived in Jerusalem and Bethlehem for a few weeks. I came back and I opened up the Bible. I never read the Bible before, and it became my classroom for a little while until I was ready and open for something else. And then when I found the Course, I went, oh my God, this is it, because it gave me a real connection to the ideas that were translated in the Bible, the few things that I didn't connect with, I couldn't believe that we had we needed to have such judgment on gays and lesbians. I just thought, what, how do you love your neighbor as yourself and you judge these other things, these other expressions? So that was a big wake up for me, was that part of it. I was very interested in doing, I wanted to always wanted to do the things that Jesus did. He said, the things that I do, you shall do in greater than these things. And I was always interested in that. I didn't realize that it was consciousness. I thought it was the physical things. And I do have seen physical things show up, physical healing. I have seen mystical things occur, and I've had mystical experience happen in my experience that are, quite amazing and astonishing. But the real astonishing thing that I found is that we're not this. That's the most incredible, enlightening idea. That is, it doesn't. It comes to a point where you don't have to believe it. I believed it for a while, and now I know it. I believed it, and now I know that it's the truth. It's a direct experience. It's available to all beings. In fact, many of us have it and don't know that we have it. It's the awareness of love's presence. It's what the Course points to. It says the aim of this Course is not to teach you the meaning of love. It's to remove the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence, which is our natural state. And when you remove the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence, the only thing that is left is the awareness of love's presence. And so if you're aware of your experience right now, if you're aware of even being aware, you're there. You are awareness itself. Awareness and God are the same. Awareness of love's presence is what God is. It's pure presence, it's pure awareness. And if you're aware of being aware, that is also, you could say, that is the now that Eckhart Tolle speaks of, that Ram Dass spoke of. It's pure aware presence. And everything has it. Everything has it. And it's not just animals, it's not just people, it's it's mosquitoes, it's rocks, it's leaves, it's trees, it's water. Everything is the awareness of love's presence. And you can know that viscerally, you can know it intimately. You don't have to read about your essential self as being, as I am. You are the I am that I am. And the way that you can know this, you can just ask yourself, am I aware of this experience right now? Am I, is there, and when you ask that question, where do you go for the answer? Where do you go for the answer? Am I aware of this experience? Where do you go for that answer? And when I ask you a question, does this awareness have a gender? You go to the same place and it brings you the same answer. Does this awareness have an age? And when you ask, and this is just a real easy inquiry that establishes the truth of eternal presence. It establishes, you don't have to say, well, I don't know if it's true. Don't believe me. What's your investigation show for you? What is the inquiry? What's your own investigation show you? This is a direct experience of pure presence. This is what God is before the body mind becomes involved. This is God presence. This is the same God presence that rocks have, that water has, that that and this is the formless present. This is and awareness is aware of itself, but can awareness be located? Can it be located other than the knowing of itself? And this is available. This is where we go in heart math coherence. We go to this same aware presence. We go to the eternal present. We actually leave time and space. It's transcendent. You leave the body mind, you leave time and space, you remember the self, the beingness of I am presence. And this is not something that you actually need to stop doing what the body mind does. The personal self will still operate, and you come to recognize that awareness is always on. Awareness, you cannot have an experience that awareness isn't involved, actually isn't informing the mind that you had the experience, and then the mind puts a label on it, describes it, and puts the past, or it starts to have ideas. It's actually the mind is the activity of awareness in motion, and awareness is, or I would say, resting in my heart coherence. Resting is awareness just in stillness. It's just resting in stillness is awareness without motion. It's aware presence of beingness. One of the things that I love about not this is coming from the direct path of non-duality. This would be as many of you may know, Rupert Spira is in my mind, he's the world's non-dual. He doesn't like to call himself a teacher, but he's definitely a teacher. He is the world pointer, and so articulate and precise in pointing to the experience of aware presence. And I love that about Rupert. But I also love A Course in Miracles. And when you take the ideas that that the aware presence is your identity as incarnate, as God incarnate, and you read the Course in Miracles, which is another love for me because it's just poetry when you integrate it with these ideas. They bring you to an experience that is just in a devotional way. I open up the Course every single day, and I sort of retranslate some of the pronouns and some of the dualistic language of the Course that is it's Christian in its language, so that when you come into the experience of living and knowing the self as being, it allows you to just just like your quantum transcendence, you transcend the duality, and you allow everything to come in. You welcome everything, and that's what this idea does. It sort of allows you to include everything, even the things that are, there are things that will occur once you are established in the identity of being. Well, things can happen, and when you stay rooted in the imperturbable presence of awareness, these things just gently come into this space of aware presence, and they sort of, any kind of energy or trigger or thing that used to upset your experience, it sort of disappears like an ice cube in warm water into this aware presence. And this is what, if you've ever heard Muji speak in little stories, he would say uh, about self-inquiry. When when someone would have a question for Muji, and they would say, Muji, I'm really troubled by this, and I don't know what to do with this. And he would do an investigation and say, well, what is it that is aware of that one that's troubled? So he tries to bring you back to that place of aware presence. And the reason that he does that is you don't have to go chasing after all of these things that the mind will bring to your attention, and analyze that and say, what's wrong here, and analyze that. If you can move to the background of all experience, which is aware presence, Muji goes, well, I don't need to take the tree, I don't need to chop the tree down one limb at a time when I can chop it at the roots in one chop. And what that means is, if you can reestablish oneself in the awareness of experience, and go there, and this is why the heart coherence is so powerful. This is why true meditation is not it's not trying to go somewhere or to reach some state. It's 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 resting in the beingness of what you are. It's not what you do, it's what you are, is a living, breathing meditation experience. And when we live from meditation, the heart math can be something that we live in all through the day. You don't have to wait to do the heart math. That's a new, that's setting a new neural pathway so that it becomes your natural state. And short moments of that, short brief instances of heart math or resting in awareness, or I call it RIA, short moments of awareness practiced many times, becomes a natural state of being, so that now you're living in this space. So now that the mind that is gradually divesting of its conditioned belief system, and the mind dissolves itself into this aware presence, it's starting to feel, oh, this is home. Oh my God, this, okay, I'm the fear is melting in the space of awareness, aware presence. And now you start to see that the body, the personal self, starts to act differently, not by behavior modification. It starts to act differently because it's being transformed. It's being metamorphosized, except for the things that you want to hold on to, the things that you have preferences for, or you have judgment about, or the things that you want to judge someone for, or the things that you want to be right instead of being happy. Those things, you you just want to suffer a little bit longer before you let those things go. And it is my I mean, it is my joy to be able to live in the experience of beingness more and more. I can see that the body mind bill is stepping back, just like A Course in Miracles has a workbook lesson that says, I will step back and let him lead the way. Well, take the pronoun out and just say, I, the body mind, will step back and let awareness be as it is. And when you rest in awareness or rest in the heart mind, in the heart uh, experience, the experience that the heart math idea brings, that practice, when you rest there, the mind feels very loved. It feels it's no longer separate in that space. And from there, it will start to um, live in harmony with divine flow. And the things that you do will be in alignment with the peace of God, the peace of pure presence. It will be in alignment with kindness and gentleness, not only to others, but also to yourself. And you'll start finding yourself living in a new state of being with true inner peace. And that's my experience. I found that this experience of living in aware presence has completely changed my relationship with how I react to circumstances in my life. It's really caused me to be much gentler, much more mindful in my communication with other people. Before I press the send button, it causes me to end with something that's just, it doesn't have that elegant love attached to it. It doesn't have that that transmission of kindness attached to it, or gentleness, or patience. It will cause me not to press send and to delete instead. It has saved my marriage with Lisa. You met Lisa. We were almost divorced about 4 years ago. And in the height of that experience of back and forth, I noticed that when I paused and when we're in the middle of something, instead of speaking, if I rest in awareness, in the beingness, that, oh my God, um, a different communication came out. Something that loved this one over here, did not want to have words come out, that gave a transmission of that was hurtful, or that was um, would in any way try to um, be hurtful at all. So that's sort of the background of where I come from, and how I live my life. And I also uh, I know that that access point, it's very easy to live in that experience of beingness. It's not a hard thing. You don't have to read the Course to find this. The Course in Miracles is what I call the progressive path. It's a great path. It took me from Christianity that into that is more of a belief system, into a direct experience where I can incarnate Christ consciousness. The thing that Jesus did, I can do now. And it doesn't require words. It's only words are only necessary if they're invited, or for your own, for a communication device. Otherwise, it's not necessary. And the other piece is that the direct path of this experience that's invited is that you are the incarnation of God presence. You don't have to die. This body doesn't have to die to realize that. It is. You are the incarnate expression of what God is. And enlightenment, even in a spiritual sense, is not a change at all. It's but a recognition of what you are always, have always been and will forever be, the eternal nature of the self. So anyway, that's in a nutshell. That's where I come from. And if anyone has any questions that you would have for me, I'm happy to answer any questions. Or if you have anything you would like to share with that, I don't know how this format works so much.
Thank you, Bill. That was fantastic. And we've had a lot of speakers on, but I just want you to know that that essence you speak of, it radiates off you truly. And when you were speaking, I felt it come over me. And I couldn't be more grateful that we got to have you come on and share that with us, because I think everyone will probably agree that you have that presence and it flows, and it melted me away. And I'm just blown away. And as you were speaking about how that's our true essence, I was just thinking about how we were talking prior about the cleanse. And, you know, more and more on this journey, I'm reminded that everything we're doing, it's more of an undoing. And so, like, as I'm cleansing, I'm feeling this awareness, and I'm realizing that food was kind of how I was just like, it was a little bit of, it wasn't allowing me to let my emotions be removed. And so, just your message made me realize that, it's all just returning home. So I'm so grateful, and I see a lot of hands up, so I'll stop sharing. But Joey, take it away, buddy.
Thank
Bill,
you.
that was phenomenal, man. And it's thank you so much, because you talked about something and you put it in language that I think I could see a lot of head shaking, which was good, because I mean it means it's resonating with people and they're getting it, and the pictures are being painted. But something that really made me understand it is the rock and the tree reference. And I immediately put me in a moment of, like, I put myself in a situation where if something really intense was happening, what would I normally do? Like, how can I make this, like, this land for me? And I was like, what would I normally do? And I was like, well, if there was any situation going on that was out of control, and a rock or a tree were in the room, they'd have no say in the matter. They'd just be in the room and experience what it is that's happening. And for a minute, once I thought that, like, once that lightning bolt hit me, I was like, that's exactly what you're talking about, is being, don't try to figure it out. Don't take the pieces of your past and bring them into this. Don't take the things that you think about in your future and bring them into this. Just be there and allow it to be, and see what comes out of it, because it could be a moment that could be very valuable and a learning moment. But if you're bringing all that chaos from the future, I mean, from the past or from the future, you might miss that learning opportunity. So to be the tree or the rock and just be there and experience it,
Yeah.
and have no judgment of yourself or the person's emotions that are across from you, just literally just be. It really, I'm experiencing that a lot lately myself. And there is a learning that happens much quicker than it would have if I tried to figure out how to learn it. If I just sat there and let it learn instead of being like, I'm supposed to be learning, you know? So that was beautiful. That was a great way to paint a picture, I think, for everybody, because I love seeing heads move. It makes me go, okay, everybody's seeing what I'm seeing right now. So it's beautiful, Bill. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Tracy, Kyle.
Thank you so much, Joe. That was great. Tracy, I am unmuting you now.
Thank you, Bill. I am so grateful to hear you. Maybe I'm just hearing it for the first time, but that inquiry that you gave us, to just guiding us to understand that awareness. I spent a lot of time and energy, recently with heart math training, but for decades, becoming more and more self-aware, more and more self-aware. But you just helped me land in a place of already there, like that awareness. It's not like I'm becoming self-aware to get somewhere.
Right.
I'm becoming self-aware to connect with that presence, that that feeling, that love, and all the wisdom that flows when I am in that space. And heart math gets me there. And I like that you mentioned heart math so much, and other things do too. But I just felt so empowered when you were guiding us through those questions that, oh, I already get it. I already have it. And I just want to thank you for that gift of empowerment, the way you phrase that, and just those simple questions. When I am aware, like, because I'm a coach, right? I'm a life coach, so I love being able to help now others connect with just their awareness presence.
Yes.
Just connect with that part of themselves that's aware that they have a problem.
Yes.
Not trying to resolve the problem so much, just that part of them that's aware of it is the magic. Coming into the heart about it is the magic. And I really got a huge aha tonight from you, and this the inquiry you led us through, and just as my Joe and Kyle are sharing too, the presence you exude. But thank you again for empowering all of us with the way you share. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. I want to mention that what's the coolest thing about resting in awareness, and the reason heart math is so powerful is because as we rest in awareness, as we rest in heart math presence, it's connecting with divine intelligence that now the mind is open to receive that divine intelligence. So not only are we in peace, inner peace, but we also have clarity and knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Because the mind isn't saying, "Oh, do this." Divine intelligence is now imbuing and encompassing everything that is going on, and the exact and perfect answer and the certainty of delivery is available, because there's no obstacles to bar its way. There's an open mind connected to an open heart.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Who else has a question? Joy, let me know if you see anybody with their hand up. I'm going to scroll around. In the meantime, Bill, do you mind telling us how everybody could find you, like in some, like kind of how you work with people, if any of our members are interested in getting in touch with you?
I actually I have a link. I'm gonna, if your site lets me if I can put a link in the chat. I wrote a blog today on that's I haven't written a blog in I think probably 6 months or 8 months, but somehow I was on a list to write a blog, and it was published today. I think I wrote it yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, if it was what was going to come, and all of a sudden I found myself writing the other morning pretty much this blog. And if you click on that blog, that'll take you to the Teachers of God Foundation, the blog that was published today. It's called Discover Awareness as a Presence. And this is such a love for me, because I really, it's like what Muji would say, that, and I've heard him say many times in satsangs, if this is so simple that I almost feel like bad, because there's so much attention given to it. But this is so simple. I wish you could know how simple this is. And the mind is so busy looking for an experience, that it's lost in the objects of experience. It's looking for an experience, and you will never find what you are if you're looking for it out there, or if you're looking for the body mind to have the experience. This is why Jesus said 2,000 years ago, when they say look here or look there, it's not out there. Go within. And within, to go within, is not in the body. Within is awareness. Awareness is the within, and we all miss it because it's closer to us than our breath. Awareness is always, you cannot have an experience where awareness isn't present, because you are awareness. That's why the removing the obstacles, removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, that's really leaving aware presence. So anyway, there's a practice at the end of this blog. There's some self-inquiry. There's different, I think I came up with about 12 or 14 awareness of love's different kinds of awarenesses that there are. There's gazing awareness, focused awareness, spacious awareness, choiceless awareness, natural awareness, abiding awareness, resting awareness, awareness at peace. You could say those three are all the same, said in a different way. Awareness of perfect oneness. This is where, when Jesus said, Jesus came in, he was first the Son of Man, the way it's described in the book of Mark. Then he was the Son of God. And then he said, I and the Father are one. So he had a progressive path, just like all of us. Son of Man. First, we think we're a body mind that's awakening to the awareness of love's presence, or we're awakening. We're becoming awake that maybe all of this maybe this isn't all that I am. And then we realize, oh my God, I'm the Son of God. And then you realize, oh my God, I'm one with the Father. And then after that, you actually need to kind of come to a place where you're not separate from what Jesus is. Jesus isn't an entity out there, even though he did his part perfectly first, but he's no different than this. And in consciousness, he's not separate from you. You are also Jesus. And the Holy Spirit, if that's your language, Holy Spirit's right here in awareness. Jesus is right here in awareness. Buddha is awareness. And actually, if you read the Course in Miracles, there's a sentence in the Course in Miracles. I love it. Yeah, I think we just finished the workbook lessons in the 180s last week, and the one that's 184, it says, God has no name. And that's the truth. God has no name. It's just it's pure presence that we gave the name of God, because I like the name of God. I like the name of Jesus. I like the name of Holy Spirit, but none of those names are really necessary when you come into the understanding that what God is has no name, and oneness just is. God just is. So when you come into this experience of the isness of presence, which is also awareness, oh my God, we're connecting with the very essence of God presence. And the body doesn't have to die to have and know this experience. We can know it right now. And as we know this, the mind will gradually come into this place, and the habits of the body mind will begin to dissolve and dismantle. So at the end of this blog, I put the link in there. Awareness Sets You Free is the is part of the title, and then at the end of it, there's a contemplation. If I were to ask you, are you aware? There's a really great contemplation there for you to do on your own, and I think it will really take you to a place of a direct experience that you maybe never um, or you haven't had available before. But no one needs to be with you. You don't need a guru. You just need yourself.
Mm.
Mm.
That place for me too, just like you connected me with it, and I'm so grateful. But it truly feels home going there. You know, like the place that you have us go as you're talking, and I'm relaxing in. It just feels like that, like forever home, and
Yeah.
it feels really, really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, if you're ever if you're if you, we all have temptations, we all have triggers, and also this is a place where you can absolutely dismantle the egoic tendency to judge other people or to judge yourself or to self-sabotage. You notice doubt. You notice when you're complaining or you've got something going on where where the mind is like running the show. You rest in the awareness of that experience and don't touch it. Don't be involved in it. Just rest and watch it. Don't talk about it. Don't make it real. Just notice it like a passing cloud. And that is a very direct experience of what A Course in Miracles calls forgiveness. Because you are the light, you're the light that's shining on this illusion, on this illusory experience. And as you sit and shine, and this is what I did when I was nearly going through a divorce with Lisa. I would sit and I would shine a light on the activity, the words that I just said, what just happened, the thoughts that were coming in. I was just shining a light on it in stillness. There's in stillness we receive the vibratory frequency of God in stillness. That's why that workbook lesson that says, I will be still and listen to the truth, that's a formula to access inner peace. I will be still, and the vibratory frequency of God presence will come in and saturate the mind, and the mind will divest its finite belief system into the eternal self nature that it is, and all of a sudden it's be like a born again experience. It's awesome.
Does the situation itself, if you're shining the awareness of God's presence, also receive the shining of God's presence, or does it fall away?
Oh yeah, it has to. It there's nothing. If you hold your place,
Mm,
there's no attack,
mm,
and
mm,
there's nothing to respond to if you're resting in peace.
mm,
It takes it does take practice. You have to undo the old reactionary system, the
mm.
mind train. That's why the mind training of A Course in Miracles is very helpful. And here's the way the two paths work. They actually have the same destination. The progressive path is a mind training system that slowly trains the mind to notice what it's been doing, and it has little nuances there where Jesus, the author of the course, would say, practice this, and you practice in 15 minutes in the morning, or 15 minutes and 15 minutes at night, but practice these things, and it sort of does a self-inquiry through the back door. So the progressive path, slowly but surely, it dismantles the mind from its fixed location of and beliefs, and then ends up to a place where lesson 200, I am as God created me, and then you get to the point where you forget this course, forget this forget this world, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. It means come unto your God presence, your I am that I am. And then you move into that experience, that direct experience of beingness. And the direct path, what I just invited all of us to recognize from the very beginning. How long did it take you to recognize awareness? Bam. You're in the presence of your eternal self. You're not a body. You're in the presence of I am awareness. That only took the recognition of what you are always. That's why they call it the direct path. And the direct path, still, even though you have a glimpse, you still have memory and body mind identity and conditioning and neural pathways. So you can, the direct path rests in the awareness of experience and doesn't touch things. It learns how to use the light source that it is to undo and dismantle the object of experience by not touching it. And so it becomes undone in a reverse way to the experience of inner peace. They both are doing the same thing, coming from different directions.
Yeah, that's so good. I circle it back to what you said at the beginning, where you said that you can understand that you're not a body, or you can know that you're not a body. And I think the understanding that you're not a body still sometimes engages in those fights. And that's where I'm at. And I want to practice. And you've given me the hope and a path of how I can work to know that I'm not a body. And I love that. And I appreciate that. I see a question from Sean. So I'm going to unmute Sean. If you want to just ask your question, buddy. Sean Curry.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, I had a question, and then it was kind of answered. Well, gratitude for being here tonight and sharing your wisdom with us. It was kind of just answered with just being still and knowing that that presence exists within me. It's just sometimes I feel it's challenging to want to bring in that presence when you're in uncomfortable situations or around uncomfortable people. So what techniques would you recommend someone when they're in the moment where they may feel that they're slipping that knowingness that they know they can, you know what I mean?
That's a common, such a common situation that we find ourselves in, the reactionary. There's a reaction. The mind is so fast that it comes in and goes, well, wait a minute. And the thing that I can recommend is develop a new habit of pausing. Develop a new habit of pausing, and notice notice the reaction, notice the temptation, and don't touch it. Just notice there's, oh my God, yes, because there's an awareness of the temptation. It's being seen, and it's not being judged, because the awareness is not the observer. And that's what I point out in my blog this morning. Awareness is not the observer. The
Interesting.
observer is still the perception in a awakened bodysuit.
Kind of like the overseer.
Yeah, observer is, in my mind, there's a sleep, and there's awakening awareness, and that awakening awareness is discernment. It's the thing that says pause, but that even pause is being is being seen by awareness, because awareness has no labels. Awareness has no judgment. Awareness doesn't see right or wrong. Awareness is God presence. And you just come into the practice of pausing. You see my hand go on my heart? That's an anchor that happens without the body. I mean, I'm not thinking about this. This happens. And when it happens, it brings me into the state of presence. It's something that the body has picked up. The body mind is now anchored in this experience. And when you see people put their hand on their heart, you are also connecting with that body language. That's a transmission that's coming from your mind, that's the same mind as that mind, the same awareness that's in you is in that one. And that's why when you see that, it's like, oh my God, yes. Or when you see this, it's a transmission. And so what I would just recommend, Sean, don't be gentle on yourself, and develop the practice of pausing and noticing what the mind is doing without judgment. Just be aware of it, because if you're aware of it and you don't touch it, you are melting it like an ice cube in warm water. You're melting that reactionary behavior of the body mind.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bill. I don't see any other questions. So, I do see one. Yeah, great. Lee.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
Thank you so much for that from Australia.
I can tell.
It's Thursday morning here, and so great to be here. You know, I listened to your journey, and I didn't have any sort of spiritual input from my family at all, and I just through circumstances, and when I was in the Defence Force, I stumbled across someone that I thought he was Christian, and I thought, you don't look like a Christian. I thought a Christian looked a certain way, and he didn't fit the mold, and that started my journey. And much like it was an introduction like you, and I loved the Bible for a long time, and then I saw the things that didn't add up, and very similar. And that the talk that you just did has just absolutely blown me out of the water. I think maybe that's why people aren't putting their hands up, because they're so blown away by that connection that you've made. For me, I know I've just gone to another whole new level. I don't even have any words, and I love talking. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You made me, I've cried, and again, I don't even cry easy. So thank you so very, very much from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. What's your name?
Leanne.
Leanne. Nice to meet you, Leanne. Do you know Thyra?
No.
Thyra, she's Australian. She's a mystic.
Okay.
And she's has an indigenous background. She was ordained by the Dalai Lama, and just a beautiful being. Oh my God! I was on a call with her last night. It was 8 p.m. here, so same time where you are.
Yeah.
and she is going to be in our summit in September. So I hope you get a chance to know her. She lives just north of Sydney, and
Okay.
she is she's like a diamond. I mean, she is she's such a great um, teacher and pointer to the truth. So if you hear about Isira in Australia, make sure and she's available to go and see. I would recommend her.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, yeah. So I didn't mention this at the beginning, but Bill actually stepped up on short notice too to come speak. So I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and I hope we can have you on again. And because your message just hit home on such a deep level with so many of us. So I want to thank you truly. If you ever need anything, call on the Quantum Healing Collective. We got your back, and I hope to hang out with you sometime and just get to know you even more, because I really connected with your message, Bill.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, Kyle, you have been helpful. You have been helpful in bringing Aaron to the summit. He's been invited to the summit, and 3 people that you recommended, Aaron and Brian Scott, is going to be there. And so is Shiva is going to be there in the summit. They've all been invited to the summit, and I just love, and you know, this is a new thing for me. I wanted to do conferences before COVID. I went to Zoomtopia, and I learned a lot about the technology of Zoom, and I started my investigation. But when the COVID hit, I went, oh my God, we need to have a platform to help people to get the message out there. And now connecting with all of these different traditions and beings around the world, I am having an absolute blast doing that. But thank you, Kyle, for your help in bringing the influence of the young generation of beings that are awakened and sharing the message, just like you guys are. You're so present in your purpose here, and you're so like alive in the truth, and I just love being able to come in and share the vibe with you guys. And thank you for inviting me to be here on in short notice. You know, I'm here to, if this is, I'm here for God. I'm here to wake up and to help the world, the consciousness awaken. That's what we're here for, and I know that that's what this group is all about.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, just like you too, I'm just having a blast. You know, that's all it is. So let's just keep having fun together, and cheers to many more times like this. You know, so I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you, Bill, so much. We love you. We honor you, and
Thank you.
everybody have a great night.
Thank you. Blessings to everyone. Good night.